Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. How the devil are you? And yes, I've got a new friend. That way, that one. Yeah, I have Jesus with me every post-match, and I thought, let's balance it out. I'll get Dave the Devil on with me. How you doing, Dave? I'm doing all right. Hey, what a game. A bit of revenge there. And I'll tell you what, just shows you how good these games can be with no VAR. I tell you, if we'd have had VAR tonight, we'd have been going to penalties. And who we've got in the next round? Brighton. Again, I mean, we can't keep away from Brighton. We're hosting them this time, but let's hope it's not as cold as last time. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. On Facebook, it's Leicester Till I Die the group, and Twitter, it's at Leicester TID, and on YouTube, it is Leicester Till I Die TV. Please consider, if you're not watching us on YouTube, popping over to YouTube and giving that like button a smash. It all helps the channel, and if you've not already, please consider subscribing. Again, that is a big help to the channel. It was Leicester versus Millwall. Brad, good evening, sir.
Good evening, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. How the devil are you?
A lot better after that game. A little bit better after a result that we warranted.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we did in the end. I think we warranted it. I think it was a good second half showing, more than the first half. I think the same issues that we've noted throughout the season are still there, which is a bit of a concern if we're going to really pluck at a negative tonight. But did the job.
I mean, let's be honest. Like you say, we did the job, but it wasn't so long ago that they did a job on us.
No, and that's more fresher in the memory than anything. But there's been a lot of times, especially with Leicester, it feels that they get undone by a team like this in an early round of the cup competition. And given even though the performance in the second half against Brighton was a hell of a lot better and warranted coming away with a lot more than it got, there was always that case for concern that if tonight they maybe struggled through on penalties, or worse still to that effect, maybe lost in normal time or over the penalties, that there might be a bit of a carry-on effect in Leicester slump in terms of results. They'd start piling the pressure on them. So it was professional. It was needed tonight. And, in a dominant second half performance, more controlling. I know they controlled the possession all game, Leicester, but when I mean controlling, I mean Millwall only really half threatened the goal at times. They did have chances, obviously, but you never really felt too at unease with the game. They did a professional job. They got through in the 90 minutes. There's others that didn't make it through, and there's others that went to penalties playing who they played. So we did it the way any team would like to go through at that stage, supporting a Premier League team playing the underdogs, especially away from home. So,
yeah, I mean, like I say, you couldn't ask for any more, really. Facebook user, no idea who you are. Stick your name on the end because you're not signed in, and it is free to sign into StreamYard. There's no registration fee. There's no downloading or anything. You basically just click on the link. Whoever you are, you've got respect for Millwall, but seriously, the team we have and still underperforming. It's becoming a familiar season with last season. Was it underperforming? I mean, it's really difficult doing this show because neither I have watched it. You've not watched it. The guy that's done the stats hasn't watched it. We've all been listening on the radio, which is obviously a little bit biased because everybody else is covering Man United. Let's not laugh at Man United. But I didn't think we underperformed.
No, but I do alert back to what I said at the Brighton game show. Reared its head again tonight, which, to anyone who maybe looked at me a bit puzzled and thought I was looked a bit gone out when I said what I said in the Brighton post-match. The first half, we played the same way we've played all season and for the last 3 seasons. Patient, slow, methodical build-up football, which has been great and has worked. I'm not saying it doesn't work either. I'm just saying that teams are cottoned on to it. Maybe not make that your first choice. And if anything tonight suggests that we need to go 2 up front or Nacho needs to start, I don't know what else he needs to do already this season to get a start, because as soon as, especially when Daka came on and it was like practically a 2 up front, we just looked a hell of a lot better side. I think that is the frustrating part tonight, and I think in the end it's more of a sigh of relief that we got the win, even though it was never really in doubt, in my opinion, from what I heard. Yes, they had a few chances, heart in mouth moment, but on the basis of play, especially in that second half, we were the more controlled side throughout. But I do feel that if you're taking anything away from that game, it's the continuation and frustration is Leicester are the slow starters, play the methodical, boring football that a lot of people quote it as boring. It's not boring to everybody, just so everybody doesn't jump down my throat.
Yeah, Anthony, who says here he's an Arsenal fan, he says, "Well done, guys. I know you win. I tipped Leicester to get to the final." I've faith in Arsenal. They're winning. I can't remember who you played tonight, but Wimbledon. I mean, let's be honest. You beat Wimbledon, and I've got to say, this is timing. Hello, Devils United, brand new Man United channel, but does a lot of European, does a lot of general football as well. Get over there and sub, and that is Maisie's channel. Devils United. Welcome along, Maisie. And seeing as you've just popped in, I've got to play this for you. Look at that. There we go. It didn't work, but you get the gist of it. Oh dear, what happened to Man United tonight? Never mind. Jason, respect to Jason, because Jason says he was actually there. So in fairness, Jason, you've seen more than us. So I just think coming to Premier League games, we're just not playing these games. Should be a lot more easier, and he agrees. I mean, Millwall, we know it wasn't going to be easy. because it's Maisie. Maisie just messaged. It's Millwall. We know it's not going to be easy. They're not going to make it easy for us. As most, in fairness, Championship clubs won't, because this is a scalp for them, and we know they've done it before.
Yeah, they are just one of them teams that no matter how poorly they're doing in the season or not getting the rub of the green, as their results may suggest, nobody seems to like playing. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter who you play against. It's just something irritating about losing to Millwall, isn't it? I don't know if it's the reputation of the club as a whole, what they've gained since their formation and over the years, and it's just like you just want to beat them just so they go home a bit more pissed off. I don't know, but there's just something about playing Millwall in a cup competition or a league game. You get under your skin when you lose it, don't you? You really just, I don't know what it is. I think it's just like cliche-ic. You think we all hate Millwall and all that, but I don't know. It just felt like a game that you really wanted to make sure we got through and win.
Yeah. Oh, Maisie. Well, seeing as you want it so much. We've got to take a minute to laugh at that. I'm sorry, and I'm no big West Ham fan, but it's nice to see the big teams lose. But we knew whether it was Millwall, Bournemouth, Fulham, whoever it was in that division, they're going to raise the game because they're playing against the FA Cup winners. Let's be honest with you. So they're going to raise the game. They're not going to make it easy. And I think, in fairness, yes, it sounded like a bit of a slow start, but we never looked in trouble. I mean, at half time, they'd had sort of more shots than us, et cetera, et cetera. But I never felt we were in danger listening to it. And you may tell me wrong here, Jason, because like I say, I wasn't there. If you want to come on, Jason, put a comment in and I'll send you the link. But I tell you, I just think it was a case of not going behind. They were going to come at us, and we knew they were going to come at us. It was a case of soaking up the pressure and making sure, like I say, we didn't concede. And to my mind, it was almost a perfect game plan.
I mean, it's worked out that way. It certainly has worked out that way for him, and maybe it's just been a little bit of reward for Brendan might feel, and the players might feel that's a little bit just. We've had that performance against Man City that, on another day we'd have more than warranted nicking a point from it. There was the obvious three things in the Brighton game that stopped us getting anything, if not all 3 points from that game. It felt a little bit unjust. We were 2 minutes away from beating Napoli, who are everybody's favourites to win most people's favourites to win Europa League on the Thursday night. We've had a lot of moments snatched from us and felt a bit hard done by. Maybe not so much the Napoli game, but the sucker punch of what we talked about on that night from being 2-0 up and drawing it is still there. Maybe Rodgers and that will feel that justifies what they do because there was no VAR tonight.
Well, that's why we won, because there was no VAR.
Yeah, probably, mate.
Terry,
probably, but...
Yeah. Terry, welcome along, mate. I have to say to you, how the devil are you, sir? I hope you're well. Did we win? No, we actually lost 3-0 and we're out and we're coming home. But Millwall fans were leaving early. I think they had some windows to smash in somewhere along the line. Did I say that out loud? Brad, tell me though, what did you think of the team? I mean, I in the pre-match show I picked Lookman to play, thankfully, and he did. He scored a goal. We'll come on to that later. I looked at that team and I thought, yeah, there's a team who can do a job with that team.
Yeah, like I've said before, I think the obvious depth we've added over the years to the squad has paid dividends because we come into this competition looking at that starting 11. No matter if you maybe wanted to see Daka, Arnis and Nacho, or both of them, or not. I think it's a starting lineup that most people could have scribbled down on paper and had a good guesstimate. Maybe not so much a Marty, kind of a forgotten man with his defensive duties at the start of the season a little bit already. Kind of, I forgot that he could be an option as a right back. It was nice to see him get minutes under his belt. I think we knew what this competition is going to be used for. And I think the fact that we've built a squad that you would be reasonably happy on most weeks, let alone against Millwall in the Carabao Cup, look at the starting 11 and go, that's got a chance. That's, wherever we weaken in a side, if we was to change it to, change dramatically like we did tonight, we seem to strengthen it more in another area to balance it out. So it's very pleasing to see a lineup every week kind of go, yeah, that could win this game. I can see how that works. I can see why he's put that form, and that's something that's a bit more pleasing on the eye. Because there's been a few seasons, hasn't there, in these competitions where we've seen some players picked and we've gone, oh, God.
Yeah.
So
Indeed we have. Good evening, David S. Welcome along. As it says there, how the devil are you, sir? Jason, I hope you're not driving because you've just typed a very long message here. Millwall very good at breaking teams down, always have, regardless how big the team are. I felt Napoli, we played brilliant. Our eyes just went off the ball in the second half. Completely agree. But I do have a lot to say. I am currently travelling back with the lads, but would love to come on the show at some time. You'd be most welcome anytime, Jason. I cannot really stress enough how Daka and Lookman should play more. I believe with those players definitely changed the game. I mean, I like I said to you the other day, I'm getting a little bit worried about building Lookman up because I kind of was like that with Under last season. And like I said a few times, he peaked at this stage last season. But Lookman is looking good.
Yeah, he is. And I think like the biggest difference between Under and Lookman is ever since, not just since he arrived at the club, but since he's got on the pitch as a Leicester player. I think I understand that obviously sometimes Leicester fans we do get carried away with a few good performances, but I think when it's been a position that we've struggled with so much to get it balanced on both sides of the pitch and look more threatening down that side of the field, when you have a player like Lookman who makes the impressions that he does, gets robbed of a goal in the Premier League and then finds the net, not robbed of it tonight, keeps improving and looking good. I think the biggest difference between Under and Lookman at this stage in their loans was I don't think everybody was on board with Under. There was a few people that questioned our praises towards Under. There's a lot of people that could see why Brendan wasn't picking him. Brendan never seemed his biggest admirer in his press conferences when asked about him at any point. It seems like he felt like maybe Under wasn't pulling his weight or clearly wasn't showing something or enough of it on the training ground pitch to suggest that he was living up to what Leicester were obviously probably going to have to pay to make it a permanent deal. And with Lookman, since the day he's walked through that door, it's been nothing but good words said by Brendan Rodgers. And that's obviously helped when you perform like that. But I would say we have a really good case to see a player that we see a lot of this season, and we'll be hoping to go to Leipzig come the end of it and say, hey, I hope you've had a really good time here because we're going to speak to your club about bringing you in if you'd like to.
I think
the
difference as well is I think maybe a lot was expected of Under because when Under came, he was generally welcomed, if you like. The fans were quite pleased to get him there. Couldn't understand why we hadn't bought him. With Lookman, there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of negativity. I'd probably say the fans were probably only 60-40 in favour of him. They all wanted Berardi, and, they all kind of presumed that because we wanted Berardi, that he would quite happily walk over broken glass to come to us, not unlike a few Arsenal fans with Maddison. There was no guarantee that Berardi was going to come here, but Lookman has got this thing with obviously the penalty miss, and I tend to say there was a lot of fans didn't want him. The thing for me with Lookman is that when I spoke to the Fulham fan about him, he was absolutely full of praise. And yes, take the penalty aside, we've seen, Mahrez can miss a penalty. Inacho, everybody, Vardy can miss, everybody misses a penalty. Let's not forget it when we played Everton in the final game of the Championship winning season. 2 penalties for Vardy, got one, missed one. So we all missed penalties. It was the way he did it, obviously, but full of praise for him. And like the Facebook user says there, he is a game changer.
Yeah, it's 3 times now from starting or coming on as a sub. Every time he's on that pitch, every time you hear his name on the ball, it's almost like you feel the energy levels have gone up a notch. We have missed that, and I don't want to put the weight on his shoulders. I don't want to put the mockers on it. But to analyse somebody in the time that we've been able to see of him, every time you can almost hear it in the crowd. When he's on the ball, they sense the urgency, and he's thriving off it. And that's something that not just under, but Gazelle and weirdly enough Musa, but that's a whole different subject. That's a whole different kettle of fish. But even to a degree, when he's played out there, Albrighton hasn't been able to do. Even though Albrighton's a fantastic winger, and I'm not criticising, I'm certainly not putting in the calibre of talent of use the word talent lightly with the word gazelle after it, but these players haven't been able to find that oomph about them or have that oomph actually already in them to give Leicester fans what they're craving on that side, which has been absent since Mahrez. Whether you like it or not, it has been. Whether you like Mahrez or not, it has been missing. And Lookman seems to have taken to it like a duck to water. He seems to relish the fans' expectations, and the fans are now getting excited seeing him, especially tonight. You could hear the roar in the crowd every time he got that ball because you just felt the ball was going forward quicker. And it's great to see.
Yeah, Michael, great job, guys. Love what Lookman brings to the pitch. The vibe is legit. More, please. Florida in America.
Wow.
Good day. That's not good. That's Australia. I've gone the other way. I can't do American. Bit of Miami Vice there, Michael. How the devil are you? Welcome along. Thanks for tuning in. We didn't need to bring on. I mean, I know we brought Daka on. I know we brought Vestergaard on. But, look at the players we had on the bench. Barnes, Maddison, Vestergaard, Castagna. We didn't bring any of the so-called, we're obviously taking those players in case it all went a little bit tits up. We didn't need to bring them on. Good to see Bukovic roaming a different bench tonight. So it was great. It was a good performance. I mean, going back to the lineup. I mean, I was very pleased, like I say, with Lookman being in there because I do think he like you say, he has that urgency that the rest of the team don't have. When he gets the ball, he wants to be going forward. And you sometimes, with Maddison, you don't seem to get that these days. And I know I say I'm pleased building up big, but even Dewsbury Hall, he seemed to have a good game today.
Yeah, he did. On the basis of it, no one really had a bad game, to be perfectly honest. It was a very good all throughout. It's like I said, it's just if you was to say to a Leicester fan, where's the spot they've had the biggest trouble replacing players in terms of quality. Yes, we've had our issues with the centre back. That's more through injury, let's be honest. We've got it sorted with Evans, Soyuncu and Fofana when he's back fit. We know we've got it a lot more solid than others in our defensive lineup. Whilst I know that Maddison's not always on point, you'd probably say that most Premiership teams would then be having our midfield. Barnes on the left, I think most people would be terrified of Barnes coming up when he's on form. You've got obviously Vardy and Nacho up front. Yes, he hasn't scored yet, Daka, but he looks lightning quick. He looks like the sort of player that's going to come on and run defences ragged. And Brendan Rodgers did say he wouldn't be an immediate chuck in at the deep end. So I'm not surprised to see him getting sub appearances. I know we'll get on that in a bit. But I just feel the impetus to be asked every Leicester fan, where on that pitch do Leicester always seem to struggle? and they'd say it's the right wing position. Because unless it's Ricardo filling in, we've never really felt confident whoever's played on that right, have we? Really?
Mm.
And if he comes in on that right, I know he prefers to be on the left, but I think maybe Brendan's going to have to sacrifice that and play him more on the right. That's what he sounded like he was coming from tonight. Someone might tell me, Brad, you're blind. I'm not. I didn't actually see the game. If you're going to tell me you played elsewhere, but that's a position where Leicester have felt they've needed that impetus to balance it out. And if Lukeman can continue from here, they've done a hell of a job to do it, at least for 12 months.
Yes. Lukeman. And good evening, Ants, Leicester fan channel and Beyond the 90. Great channels, guys. Get over there and check them out. And Jason, he's not driving, so he's all right texting. I do think the midfield could be a little bit more creative. I guess that's what we're missing. The question mark is Tielemans and Maddison over the next couple more games. I believe we will know what we have to change, but all players have their off days. I can't understand why it's saying Facebook user. Have you clicked on? Maybe it's because you're on your phone. But have you clicked on the link that was on Facebook, the StreamYard link? It will then you have to click on that to get it to come up. Scott says Brad Barnes can also play on the right wing whilst on loan. I mean, I think Barnes and Lookman, if he plays regularly, are going to be interchangeable, and that's not a bad thing. We know Brendan likes those sort of players, but Inacho, he set one up, he scored one. Surely, I mean, we've got and obviously it's. I'm probably going to get sort of, hate here, but yeah, Vardy's good, and Vardy has scored a few goals, but he's been playing. But we know he's not the Vardy that he was, a season plus ago. Inacho, he's had up until tonight. Inacho, our top goal scorer from last season, had 89 minutes on the pitch up until tonight. He's had more minutes in one game than he'd had all season. And they're even questioning it on, in the nationals or on the websites for the big boys. I just don't, it's Vardy's Vardy. I know, and I know everything he's done, and he's our fourth best ever goal scorer. But if Inacho is on fire, and he's had a great game today, I know it was only Millwall, but in fairness, it's only Burnley coming up. Surely we've got to start Inacho on Saturday or Sunday. Is it yeah, Saturday we play.
If Nacho doesn't get started on Saturday, whether that's in the Maddison role, let's face it, Maddison can't see it somehow, but I do feel Maddison needs a break.
Yeah,
he needs to find his head again. Or he's got to change it to a two up front. Because if Nacho gets the phone call or goes into the team hall or whatever they do these days and how they announce who's picked for the game, and he's not on that starting 11, what he needs to do then is ring Leicestershire police and report a robbery, because he's been absolutely robbed of a starting 11 if he doesn't get in that team. I thought you were
going to disagree with me for a minute, but you've gone straight out.
Honestly, I disagree with the whole Vardy thing, because let's face it, Jamie Vardy's 34, he's still incredible, he's got 3 goals in 5 games, he's got to start. So that's why I say either you drop Maddison and go, okay, Kels, you can play that role. It's obviously something that develop him to be interchangeable, which I really like, because he's still young, he can still learn these things. He's obviously been proved to be a dynamic sort of striker with what we've seen of him throughout his time at Leicester and what we've seen of him already this season. He's played them roles. So either he starts as a lone striker, which I can't see happening. I'm sorry, I just can't see a world where Jamie Vardy scores 3 goals in 5 games.
So is Jamie Vardy undroppable then?
Right now, yes, because he's still on form.
It appears so, because he didn't finish last season's top goal scorer, and the guy that was top goal scorer played 89 minutes in 5 games.
Yeah, but in an ideal world, Chris, I think there was a lot of Leicester fans that would say they'd assumed that Leicester were going to have to play 2 up front because they're both undroppable. right now they are both showing forms that they need to be in the 11. So, like I said to you, yes, Jamie Vardy's undroppable. You can't drop a man who scored 3 goals in 5 games. You'd be daft to do it. Look at Man City; they can't seem to find a striker. Well, oh no, sorry, that's because they haven't got one. But there's clubs out there that would kill to have a striker who's got 3 goals in the first 5 games in the season.
And in fairness, I totally agree with you. As you know, I do play devil's advocate. I am very much an advocate of having the 2 up front because I know how well it worked at the end of last season. You know, yes, there was games when it didn't go, but overall, Vardy and Inacho together. I think it's wrong that anybody, even Vardy, is not droppable if they're not playing well. But those 2 together last season were on fire. They just developed something. And, you know, you can't say that it was a Brendan Rodgers, light bulb moment. He was forced into it because of injuries. It clicked, and we haven't gone for that. Who knows what we might have got against the teams that we didn't get points against if he'd gone for that. But yes, you know, tonight Inacho, as I say, an assist and a goal. What more has he got to do?
There isn't much more he can do, and maybe it's something that, you know, maybe my managerial expertise sat here on the couch watching every game has led me to this. But I agree that I now think that they do have to play in a 2. They're clearly made Iniacho into a versatile player. And if you're not going to drop Maddison, because the only way to get his confidence up is to keep him on the pitch, some players have been noted for that. So I'm not using it as a bias to keep Maddison in the team. I agree with you. If someone's not on top form, they need to be rested. But I think if you look at that, look at Jamie Vardy's career just for a second, and you look at every season, you'll notice there's about a 6 to 8, maybe 2 months where Jamie Vardy goes missing. In terms of goals, in contributions, he probably still chips in, but he does go missing. That's a very well-known fact because a lot of people get to about December time, and we're talking about how long Jamie Vardy's not gone about scoring. But it can't have been coincidence of last season that when the injuries interrupted the system, and they went to a 2, that Jamie Vardy's rut in front of goal also ended, as well as Iheanacho's purple glue patch that he had. I would rather have that situation where they're both on form. Imagine how many goals Jamie Vardy gets if he's got a focused, fully match ready, fully on board, full of confident striker. If he nips off the boil a little bit and, you know, Kelechi Iheanacho or Patson Daka get on the goal glue by playing playing up front, then when Jamie comes to his December and maybe he's not scored in 2 or 3 games, he rides through that and we power through them months instead of having these months where we're going, well, Jamie Vardy on his own, he's not scoring. Where did the goals come from if Barnes doesn't get them? Or because Nacho wasn't a feature then before that happened.
I agree. And a lot of the time with Vardy, let's be honest with you, he's not always getting the service. And that, you know, if he has a striker, if you're not getting the service, you're not going to score. And we know that strikers go. I mean, let's face it, Harry Kane, it always takes him 6 weeks to get warmed up at the start of a season. You know, he always has a bad
but then he always ends up winning the Golden Boot.
You know? Yeah, exactly. And as Jason says there, we should go 4-4-2.
Right, that's it. Yeah, we should.
I'm going to say, Jason, I agree. I can remember I used to, believe it or not, I used to teach my oldest son's football team when he was younger. I was like assistant coach. And the guy that was actually running it, he was a scout for Leeds as it happened, but he was an ex-player. And he got me very much involved. I was very much on I got my McDonald's FA coaching badge part 1, which is you would say that was like an enthusiastic father. But I must admit, when I looked after the games, I always went for 4-4-2. I love a 4-4-2. And Scott says there, what formation for the Burnley game? Now, you've said, Scott, here, 4-1-3-2, which is basically a modern way of saying 4-4-2. You've still got that. It's just, they say that one of them centre mids, obviously, and indeed he drops back. But 4-4-2 for me, I would be more than happy with that. Would you, Brad?
Something along that lines.
I mean, these days they don't call it 4-4-2 because it's so out of fashion. It's 4-1-4-1 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But it basically, like Scott's 4-1-3-2, it's a 4-4-2, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, you play. It's basically that. It's all dependent on how many he wants in the middle to depend on what he goes with. He might go for a 3-5-2. But I can't. I mean, I can't see it. Evans has just managed 90 minutes, which is great. Vestergaard, obviously, we know he's fit because he's on the bench. He's coming on and whatnot. Soyuncu finally gets a clean sheet. That's probably felt good to him.
Yeah,
there's a possibility of a 3 at back. I can't really see it. I think he might still want to boost up their confidence a bit, get them a bit more settled. But he could. That's the only other way I could see him doing it, going 3-5-2.
I mean, it was a 3-5-2 tonight, according to the BBC, with Lookman and Inacho both up top. Like I said, I don't know because I've not actually sort of watched the game. I do have a message, and I do know that he watches this show, Ben Chilwell. He's always texting me, disagreeing with me. But if you watch him, Ben, Luke Thomas. That's how, as a youngster, you go to Millwall and not be scared and shit yourself if the ball goes out. So Ben Chilwell, you maybe cost Chelsea 50 million, and maybe that was nappies for you when you shit yourself on the side of the pitch. I don't know, but look at Luke Thomas tonight. That's how you play the Millwall crowd. He had a good game, didn't he, Luke Thomas?
Yeah, he did. He looked ever the professional. It's great to see him and Dewsbury Hall just showing just how good our our ability is to produce them from our academy, still shining bright with the players we have coming through. Didn't look like he'd missed a beat the first team football, did he? For someone who has found himself before a ball was kicked this season thinking, I'm actually going to be the starting left back going forward for Leicester. Then Bertrand arrives and has a stormer for a few games, and he's not found himself getting picked every week. So, for me, just that's something that maybe went under the radar a little bit. We're all talking about Nacho not getting started. How's it going to affect him? Which it clearly hasn't. Let's be honest with you. For all the rants and the raving we've done for not seeing him start, it clearly hasn't affected his confidence because he's found the next day and, like you said, assisted the other one. But he could have gone under the radar. Luke, Thomas. Yeah. No one really thought how's he mentally handled it because he's still 19, or is he 20 now? Either way, he's still young, isn't he? Way, he's still young.
Yeah.
How would that mentality happen? It just shows, it backs up that feeling that you get around Leicester City, and you hear from the outside point of view that it's a very strong knitted unit because he came into that game and, like I said, he was seamless. You couldn't tell me there was a difference between Bertrand and Thomas to pick for your starting left back because they both bring something to the game and they both do it very well.
They do. And I didn't realise, just looking at the stats here, which I know you don't like, but in all time against Millwall, we've played them 13 times. There hasn't been a draw yet. We've won 5 and we've lost 8. But I just thought I would throw that in there. But what I want to say is, and what impressed me tonight is, Leicester, when Leicester have been playing in these cup competitions, we tend to put a B team out, and that's no disrespect to the players that are in that, but it's not what you would normally say would be the Premier League starting 11. And we've, Newport, let me say, Millwall, when we played in the past, we've always struggled. We've never had that depth in the squad, We've Brad's gone off to scratch his bottom.
No, keep going. I've just turned the light off, said the clock doesn't go off. It's about to go off.
Last time, I miss your cuckoo clock. But when we played Millwall last, February 17, we lost 1-0 with the 90th minute goal. I mean, we had Ron Robert Zieler in goal, Johan Benaloon, Mola Wagyu, who obviously he got injured, unfortunately, but Kaputska, Mendy, Gray, Musa. Now, that was sort of over half the team were not what at that point you would call first team regulars. And yet now we've managed to do this and play a game where we stifled Millwall at the start. We kept the crowd quite quiet. Yeah, maybe we've now finally got that squad depth.
Yeah. It clearly shows it's something that Leicester fans have been asking to see improvement over the last few seasons, and it's been demanded with the way Leicester have been playing football, where they've been finishing the league. And as they say, with success comes pressure. Comes expectancy, doesn't it? Expectancy and pressure come with success, and it's great to be enjoying times as a Leicester fan at the moment. Winning the Premier League, playing in the Champions League, being in the Europa League, winning the FA Cup, being in the Europa League again. Now into the next round of the Carabao
winning the English Super Cup.
Don't
forget that one.
The Super Cup. With these things comes great success, but it also brings that demand. There is teams that have done this before.
I thought you were going to burst into the Spider-Man quote then.
Well, I was thinking great
With
power.
great power comes great responsibility, young Brad.
Yeah. but to coin that phrase, I kind of probably reworded it with how I've said that there. But it still stands true, though, doesn't it? Because there's teams that have come before Leicester, like your Southamptons, like your West Hams, and I will just throw it out there. But it is good to see a light of West Ham back up there again. I have an affiliation with West Ham, with my family, but no, them teams have faded away when they couldn't maintain that season upon season. And if Leicester continue on the way they're going, yes, all right, now on the table side of things, it doesn't look the greatest, but I assure you, after 38 games or in the league, let alone how many we could play in the entirety of the season, could easily hit 50 games. In the longer thing, longevity of it, that I don't think Leicester are going to be too far off the mark of where they were last season. I think we will be in that top 6 come the end of it. And if you do that with a quick run, I think that's something that Leicester fans would be very grateful to have. If we won this competition and came 6, I don't think there'd be many Leicester fans that wouldn't be happy with that.
No
success.
I mean, I think I said on the preview show, I've said a couple of times, I don't think we're going to break into that top 4. I just can't see any of those 4, possibly Liverpool, but I don't think any of those 4 will drop out the top 4. So we're looking at maybe 5th again, 6th. But this time, rather than sort of being in the top 4 from the get-go, looking over our shoulder, are we going to drop out again? This time, we're the ones sort of coming up from behind. And who knows, maybe our season to do it that way. Facebook user, they had 8 shots on target to our 7. Sorry, they had 8 shots to our 7. Sorry, only 1 on target. So I'm presuming that he did have a save to make. We had 71% possession. I mean, how stupid is that? Jason, sir, you finally signed in. Nice one, mate. Welcome along. Play with 2 up front because the defence, the need to come out if you have no service. How come? I think you mean our strikers be expected to score? James works better partnered up. Vestergaard, wow, what a player. I have to say, he's looking a really good player we've signed. I think he is. And Bertrand as well when he played. Scott says here, can't wait to see James Justin and Fofana back in the side. Would not like to be Brendan if we have a fully fit squad. I mean, it's going to be amazing when we've got a fully fit squad, isn't it? He's just when he gets the big bucks. Thanks, Jason, Scott. Sorry, like and subscribe, please do. Man of the match. I think you know who this is because you obviously see the posts on Twitter and Facebook. It's gone to Kelechi Iheanacho, I think very, very fairly. And I've got to bear with Alan on this one. And Jason, I'd be great if you say whether you agree with this or not, because Alan, again, couldn't get a ticket to go tonight. So he's given the manager 6. He's given the team 6. You were there. Would you agree with that? I certainly think Kelechi Iheanacho, he won LCFC's man of the match, so you might not disagree with that. And it's great to see him back up there again. Your thoughts on that, Brad?
I mean, I know we had the same way of listening to the game as Alan did, so I'm not going to begrudge him too much because you have to remember that it's Leicester radio, the LCFC radio that we had to listen to tonight. And like any base radio station on a football club, they tend to make the game sound a little bit more biased than most. So, some shots that are just as wide as the away team or the opposition are a lot closer suddenly, depending on the commentator, I guess. But no, I think 6 is a bit flat, it's a bit harsh. I think it's mainly he's kept the ratings because of the way he's got it. If I'm going off the way it sounded, I'd probably say they deserve a 7. That's the manager and the players.
Yeah.
Apart from Lookman, there wasn't anyone really getting close to a performance like that for Kels, was it tonight? I mean, it's a striker who gets a goal and assist. He's doing his job, as Roy Keane might say to him, but he's doing exactly what others maybe weren't able to find the target, weren't able to do. But everybody had a great performance, didn't they? I don't know if we're doing ratings tonight because it's a late show, but if we were, I don't think I'd be scoring many people at 6 or under. I think
I asked, and I did actually, in fairness, say to Alan that if he didn't want to do it tonight, I would understand because, like I say, he does go to most games. He hasn't gone to this one, and I don't blame him. He has got sort of the same health condition as me, and I think if I went there, I think I'd come out alive. But yeah, but he did it from that, and Jason said there 7 for the players, 8 for the manager. So yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's, like I say, there or thereabouts. We have a quick look. We're not going to do the player ratings because we haven't really watched it, but we're going to have a look at some of the other games, and we'll be straight back after this. So just looking at some of the results tonight, and I know I'm going to let you have a chat about them while I try and bring something up. Arsenal managed to get another win against a very, very, very tough Wimbledon side. Hashtag not. Chelsea went to get penalties to beat Villa. Man United, we know about. I'm not using this as an excuse, but I'm going to play it again. Ollie, what are you doing? Fantastic transfer window, according to Man United fans. You've got the god back that will walk on water, and you lose in the first cup competition you're in. Are you going to end up trophyless again, Ollie? And I feel sorry for your dad tonight because Spurs went through on penalties.
Oh, yeah, because they played Wolves. You lost me for a second. I thought I was listening to you.
Yeah. I thought for a minute you were frozen then.
I was like, what a weird sentence to stop on. I don't. I think it's funny. Because it's just... me and my dad had this rivalry where we always just like kind of... normally in moments when it's needed to be a bit sensitive when you lose a cup game or a final or you get beat by each other. But... ever since we had that infamous 4-3 defeat to them when we were 3-0 up, when they were sponsored by a bag of crisps, we don't like to leave each other in much sympathy when it comes to getting knocked out of a competition and one of us goes further. So, you know what, fine, Spurs can win on penalties against a drab Wolves side. That's fine by me. We did it the easier way, and that's fine. They're not going to be facing us in the next round, so...
No, and Tottenham were 2-0 up. In fairness, they were cruising, and they let Wolves back into it.
Yeah, the Spurs, aren't they? They, even my mates coined the phrase, "It's not Spursy unless you 2-0 up and you throw it away." Well, what a way to follow it up tonight.
Yes, yeah. Well, let's have a look because the draw was made straight after, and I did say at the start who we had got. So we are, and that's as big as I can get it, guys. Sorry, but I will read it out here. We've got Brighton away. We seem to like getting Brighton in the cup, don't we? Hopefully it'll be a warmer night, though.
Yeah, the last time we got Brighton in the cup at home, though, we went on to win the cup competition.
Exactly.
So who knows? Who knows? I'm always one of them when it gets to this sort of stage of the competition. I know because this one's like straight to the round of 16, which is a bit weird, and obviously we know the FA Cup goes a bit further.
I know we're 3 games away from the final. Can you believe?
But you'd want to be saying, especially with the teams that sort of get eliminated and who's left in the competition, you'd be going at home. You fancy your chances, so I'm happy it's a home draw.
Yeah. Well, we've got Chelsea, Southampton. That'll be an interesting game, as will Arsenal, Leeds. Brentford, I put 7, I think it was, past whoever they played last night. Brentford, so they're on a really good run. I should have had a bet on them staying up because I did say they were going to be the surprise package, but they're travelling to Stoke, which on a wet Wednesday we know isn't the nicest of places. And West Ham, having put the red side out, are now up against the blue side of Manchester.
Yeah, I don't think West Ham ever catch a break when it's these sort of things. They always seem to be playing. They always seem to have one or the other playing Man City, then Manchester United, or vice versa. And they always seem to get a result against Manchester United when it's that case. This time around,
that will teach them for getting the easier group than us in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah,
in the Europa League. Sorry, Europa League.
Yeah, well, it's just
UEFA Cup. I'll show my age.
Yeah, definitely. There's some interesting draws there.
Yeah, Burnley, Tottenham. You've got to probably say Tottenham on that one.
You said interesting, and then you said Tottenham were playing Burnley. So,
QPR, Sunderland. Now that those are two of the sort of. I always get worried because thinking like, oh, come on, because I can remember absolutely praying in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup that we would get the lowest team in there at home this year, and we did, and it was Wickham. So I'm always worried about hoping for a lower team.
Exactly, yeah. That's what makes these sort of results even better.
Yeah, it is QPR, Sunderland, and Preston against Liverpool. So you probably got to look at Liverpool going through there, but we know Brighton are beatable, and I'm not going to talk too much about Brighton because it will just get me going again. But we do. I mean, they were lucky at the end of the day to go through. It should have been a draw probably on Saturday or Sunday whenever we played them. And we're at home though. That's the advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it always warrants winning, getting a draw at home. It's always more favourable. Doesn't matter who you're playing in the competition. Doesn't matter if you're Sutton United or you're Leicester City. If you get drawn at home and you get Manchester City, you feel a bit more optimistic about getting a result, no matter who you are. If you draw a team at home, and there's some nice draws there. Not to put the cart in front of the horse, but. Leicester might relish a round 3 with Brentford because they face them a lot in cup competitions. They do like playing Stoke as well in the cup competition. I believe they were the first team we beat when we won the League Cup as well. So we do like playing Stoke in the cup. That might be one game that teams.
I'd say we like playing Man United in the cup after last season, but oh dear, they're not there.
Yeah. I'm glad we avoided West Ham for obvious reasons of recent results. It'd be nice. It's not ideal, but if you're going to get karma for anything, it'd be nice to get a nice, comfortable big win against Brighton at home in the cup. But that's a way off. Right now, the focus turns to Saturday. It turns to Iniacho starting against Burnley. Yeah, and it hopefully is the starting point for Leicester to get some consistency. Yeah, because I know I say it with a bit of a joke sometimes that Leicester are the most consistent team of being inconsistent, but for once, it would be nice to be a bit consistent with our results.
This is very true. And they're going to be played in the week of the 25th of October. So it's basically a month away. So we've got that to look forward to. Talking of looking forward to, you're going to be back with us tomorrow night, 7:00 for the Premier League prediction show.
Yes, I am. As always, you're stuck with me.
None of us did very well last week, but it's all closed up a little bit. You started off quite well, and then you sort of dropped away. But it's all closed up. So
I feel like Leicester in reverse. Had a good start, not a very good second half.
It is a bit. I don't ask about the ex-players league because I won it last season, but I think I'm bottom this at the moment. I'm having a bit of a Sheffield United season. But 7 o'clock tomorrow, the prediction league with yourself, and we're joined this week by Charlie, the young Man City fan. So we will see how he goes. And then 9 o'clock tomorrow, I'm popping over to Turf Moorhouse TV, and we're going to be doing a preview of the Burnley game on their channel. Make sure you follow me over there. He's a great guy. He's my brother from another mother. And it's a good laugh. So catch us up there, and then back with Brad again 5:30ish on Saturday when we hopefully talking 3 points and another win.
Oh, we better be, mate. To be honest with you, because that's when I will start raising concerns if we can't beat Burnley at home.
Yeah. And talking of Charlie from Man City fan, good evening, Charlie. How the devil are you, sir? Just saying, we will see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for the prediction show. I always have to double check because there's a couple of dugout channels there, but yeah. Is that actually? That's probably not Charlie. No. That might be Doug himself. I'm old. I get confused. Hang on, he's about to tell me. It's Douglas. Douglas, how the devil are you, sir? Gotta be happy. Liverpool fan. And you've got Preston in the next round. How easy do you want it? Okay. And don't forget this brand new show every Tuesday coming to you. We are going to be live with ex-Fox Julian Watts, who used to do the post-match shows. If I remember this last season with us, but he does struggle now with when the matches are to actually join us. So he's going to be doing one-to-one. We're going to be Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. We're going to be looking at the past week's games results and having a chat about them and looking at it from an expert's point of view. Yes, I know Brad's an expert, but Julian's played the game. But no, he's going to be there Tuesdays at 9, so join us then. Brad, as always, sir, thank you very much. You are still there, and I'm just going to pull this on so we can see you again. It's great to have you on, sir, and I will see you tomorrow night if you can last 20-odd hours without me.
I'm sure I can manage to fill the void, mate, until then. It's been a pleasure as always. It's obviously always more enjoyable when we win, but I weirdly enjoy it even when we lose because it gets me a chance to vent a bit of frustration or be the voice of reasons.
I know you always vent. You never get me venting frustration on the show.
No, I fell asleep for the first 5 minutes, mate, because I knew you'd let me have the nap.
That was the other night. Yeah. You waited very patiently while I went off on one. I did tell you, in fairness, I did say to you before, go and make yourself a cup of tea.
Oh, well, I wasn't sure, but I wish I had. And next time we put that, I will make myself a cup of tea. No drama from VAR. Let's have no VA drama, eh?
Yes. Oh God, that's back, isn't it? But hey, thanks very much, Brad. I will see you. Oh, it's coming up to 11:20. Some of us will be turning into pumpkins. I know you're looking at me and think I already have, and I can't argue with that. I have. This is all lockdown pounds. I'll tell you. I weighed myself today in the scale. It was a talking scale. It went, get off, you fat bugger. So I'm going to go. Brad, I'll see you tomorrow at 7. As always, sir, it's been a pleasure. Mate. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks very much to Brad. Always a pleasure to have him on. The yin to my yang, as they say. Is that right? I think it is. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And if you are catching this up on podcast, thank everybody for listening. And you can get us on podcast. We are all over the place. Amazon, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google, Podcast Addict and Anchor. to name but a few. Thanks to everybody. Please smash the like button, and if you've not subscribed on YouTube yet, please do. We would love you forever. And like I say, don't forget, coming up Tuesday at 9, brand new show with the ex-Fox Julian Watts, and we will be talking X on the pitch. Do you like what I did there? Do you like that, eh? You know, you think this show is just thrown together, don't you? But there's so much thought goes into it, and we still don't get it perfect. Thanks very much, guys. See you back with Brad and Charlie tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.